you ever been walking down the street and you heard some killer music? Or someone doing backflips for tips and then BAM! Some random person comes along and decides it's their moment?
Thank you very much. But Michael Jackson, no, I'm not Michael Jackson. He's dead.
Yeah. Today we're breaking down 18 bold, funny, and totally satisfying moments when street performers clapped back without losing their cool. Even crazier is the moment this man was trying to interrupt a street performer who was in the act. The street performer was all covered in clothes and props of dark ash color. He was standing very still, but extended his hands to an amused young boy. While this was going on, a troublesome adult was tapping him repeatedly and trying to break his act. But when the man kept up his antics, the performer decided he had had enough, and he paid him in kind. This attention-seeking man wanted the spotlight for himself. As if he was the only one enjoying the music, he comes out of the crowd and starts dancing without paying attention to boundaries. The crowd seemed to enjoy his display and even cheered and clapped for him. But the very next moment, he crashed into the performers. And, let's just say, they didn't take that lightly. Eventually, he walked out of the spotlight in shame. The drummer may not have taken the crash very lightly, but this next performer was more forgiving of this next lady. This lady was quietly playing her harp on the roadside, but moments after, she was soon interrupted by an older woman who, instead of enjoying the music, decided to call her a beggar. The lady quietly cleared the air, saying she wasn't begging at all. But the old lady wouldn't give up quite easily, and the performer also decided to mess with her, all with a disarming smile on her face while she kept on playing the harp.
I've never seen a beggar or anybody begging, asking people to put it on their card.
I'm not begging.
Hey?
I'm not begging.
What are you doing then?
Playing music.
Yeah, but who asked you to? Who asked you? Did you get permission from our council?
Yes.
If you weren't begging, you would be playing music for free.
I am playing it for free, technically.
Why are you getting no money then?
Because people want to give me money.
No, you don't ask for that. You don't put that label
I'm not
there.
asking for it.
You are. Tap to give tip for £2. That is begging.
Alright.
Don't you know the difference? I'll ask Cara Council if you got permission. And they can arrest you.
Here's a lady who wanted her request to be obliged at all costs. So she decided to interrupt a roadside performer for a really crazy request. Yes, this lady asked if they could be allowed to play the man's guitar. And very firmly, the performer turned them down. Even when he was offered money for it, the man still declined. The woman refused to give up that easily and brought her husband to persuade the performer, even giving him more money. And what was their reason? They wanted to take a photo with them holding the guitar. The man maintained class and kept playing while refusing to attend to these people.
Can we play?
Can you play?
Yeah.
Can I play a few chords? No.
We'll give you money.
I'll give you money. No one's touching my guitar.
Oh.
Oh, just for a photo. Just for a photo, no? Take a photo.
Yeah. Can you hold it for a photo?
Here is a street performer standing still on the streets of Queensland, Australia. The crowd seemed to be enjoying his performance, including the little boy in a green shirt. But just as the little boy came into view, an adult man without a shirt came into view and tries to grab the performer aggressively. The performer tries to wrangle free. The situation could have escalated without the intervention, and eventually the man left the crowd but made sure to have a last word.
Look, I've got it on camera.
Here is the moment this dancer was performing on the street. There were a few people surrounding him, and all of them seemed to be enjoying his vibes. But out of nowhere, a guy came nearly close to the performance area and tried stealing the spotlight. He kept mimicking the performer's dance moves with the intent to arouse laughter. Cool, calm, and professional, the performer guided the man away, even though he seemed a little reluctant to go. Up next is the time this little girl interrupted a performer. The performer was hunched over the piano, fully focused, peering into the black and white keys while lost in a beautiful piece for the crowd to admire. But unexpectedly, a young girl came closer. At first, it was as though she wanted to admire the performer at closer proximity. But that thought would soon vanish as she began to randomly press the keys of the piano. You'd expect frustration, or at least an annoyed glare. But he kept his cool. And shortly after, her guardians came to pick up the curious young girl just in time. But unlike this guy who maintained his cool, some performers like the next one can react differently. Here is the moment this performer was playing, as you can see, a piano. Everyone was enjoying the performance with smiles on their faces, but there's a twist here. This lady comes into view, and instead of asking if she could solo along with him, she begins to play immediately. But instead of confronting or scolding her, the pianist leaves the piano to her in dignified grace.
I was playing the piano when suddenly...
Moving on to this street performer who was interrupted by a disruptive onlooker. At first, things seemed to be going well with his performance, and the crowd was responsive as well. But when the old drunk decided to get a bit of attention, he knew he had to take care of the issue immediately.
There we go. Oh, a little applause. Cool. Oh, wait, it's unstable, Shepard. Just 1 second.
This performer was calmly performing tricks. His performance clearly involved the participation of the audience, and everyone seemed to understand this unspoken rule. But when the performer removes the cap of this man in white top, things become heated. There was a lot of chasing around. The man became aggressive and raised an object in threat. But eventually, the performer returned the angry man's cap for peace to reign, and he returned to the uncrowded area to continue his performance.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Trust me, trust me. Okay, you hold that one, I hold this one.
Now let's check out the time this trumpeter on the streets was messed with by an older man who wasn't pleased with the music. At first it seemed he was about to go physical in his confrontation, but he didn't. What he did, though, was that he made sure he wore down the performer with his complaint, and eventually the performer stopped playing and walked away.
Get the fuck out! Get out! No! Get out! Where are you from? Where are you from? Go to a studio and rehearse. Maybe someday you'll learn. You're a disgrace! You suck! How dare you? I'm 3 blocks down! Who the hell do you think you are?
Up next is the moment these performers were interrupted while in the middle of their performance. The lady singer was really in the groove when suddenly a mischievous child came to disrupt her performance by mimicking the lyrics of the song and out of tune. Most performers would shush the kid, but even though the singer was taken back for a moment, she immediately disregarded it and sang even louder to drown out the voice of the child. Moving on, this is the time a lady interrupted street performers while they were in the middle of their performance. She walks into the uncrowded center of the performance area and pulls some moves which clearly do not resonate with the audience and the performers. They tell her to leave as politely as possible, but she refuses. Even after she was booed by the audience, she still stands there, heedless of the fact that she wasn't wanted. Eventually, authorities were called to handle the situation calmly.
All right? We have so many people here that's enjoying themselves. Okay? This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the last part. Now what are you doing? Now what are you doing? Hey, sweetheart, there's kids here. There's kids here. There's kids here. There's kids.
Here is another moment of a busker who was interrupted by a rude onlooker. The busker was simply doing his thing when the man, who was clearly on a mobility scooter, came into view to tamper with the performer's document. The performer asked him to leave the area, but the man insisted he wanted to check the document for no tangible reason. Eventually, the man scooted off the stage and the performer resumed his act to the cheers of a supportive audience. Now this one has a very funny twist to it. This performer was seated alone in the snow while playing his guitar, but a random guy soon approached him. He pushed the performer and sat on the chair to play the drums. But the performer wasn't giving up. He re-emerged from a corner in a rather dramatic fashion, wearing a mask and holding a prop. The invader knew he had to leave or he would be dealt with. Let's move on to the time this complete stranger messed with a performer on the streets of Toronto. The man rifled through the performer's bag as though in search of treasure. The man kept taking out things and throwing them to the performer, who caught them quite easily and without irritation. Surprisingly, he began to eat dry spaghetti, but the performer was kind enough to give him water. The performer was quite professional, and the crowd was happy with how he handled the situation.
When you're at Young and Dundas, so be sure to tell all of your friends about the lovely time that you're having, and we'll just watch this a little bit, and then oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, assuming that we get to continue the show somehow, right now, I think help is on the way. Oh, that was nice. That was really nice right there. And now eat more of the spaghetti, because it's very good for you. And look, here comes my good friend from the back of the square. He's such a nice guy, and he's coming over so that we can have a good time. That's my water. That's my water. Oh, you need some? Okay, yeah. I got you. Here, let me just give him a squirt of water. He's had a lot of dry spaghetti, so he kind of the water there. Okay, and now you can just have that. You can just have that. That's yours now. So now that's yours. And
But here's another moment when an attention-seeking lady somehow made things wholesome. This masked pianist was hunched over the piano with everyone clearly enjoying the performance. In a bid to share the spotlight, this lady brought out her cello to accompany the pianist. The pianist was surprised and started looking around to see where the sound was coming from. But instead of taking offense, he handled things very professionally, and they both made a wonderful duet. Finally, this was the time a passerby who loved MJ's music tried messing with this street performer on the streets of London. The man came to the performing area to show off his dance moves and his knowledge of Michael Jackson music.
Okay, thank you very much. But Michael Jackson, no, I'm not Michael Jackson. He's dead. You think, okay, Michael Jackson, everyone. Yes, come on, dance. Oh my God. I don't have any music for Michael Jackson here. Okay. Oh my goodness. I don't have. Emre, do you have Michael Jackson music? Come on. Let's wait, people, wait. Let's share. Yeah, Michael Jackson.
He kept raising his hands, enjoying the attention he had created for himself. But the performer remains professional and lets him be a part of the performance. And that's all, guys. Next time you see someone giving their all on the street, maybe clap, maybe tip, but definitely don't be that entitled guy who tries to steal the spotlight. So what did you think of these instances, and which of them is your favorite? Let me know in the comments section below.